Yo, things just got tense between Yo Gotti and Key Glock, and it's way deeper than what people are seeing online. Word is, Key Glock showed up at the grave of Anthony Big Jook Mims, Gotti's older brother who was killed, and that move sent shockwaves everywhere. Folks immediately started reacting, and when Gotti finally addressed it, the internet lit up fast. But this isn't just random drama or social media back and forth. This situation has roots that go back years. We're talking about rejected deals, violent incidents, court cases, and long-standing tension tied to the streets of Memphis. There's history here, serious history, that makes this moment hit way harder than it looks on the surface. To really understand why this is such a big deal, you have to go back to around 2014, when Memphis was already shaping the sound of the South. Back when Yo Gotti, born Mario Mims, was building Collective Music Group into a powerhouse, turning it into one of the most influential pipelines in Southern hip-hop. That's where the story really begins, and everything that's happening now traces back to those early moves. Back then, Yo Gotti wasn't just making music, he was building an empire. Deals were coming in, artists were getting signed, and everything was moving fast. Right beside him through it all was his older brother, Anthony Big Jook Mims. In the streets, people knew him as Big Jook, and he wasn't just family, he was part of the machine. He played a real role behind the scenes, helping keep Collective Music Group running strong. CMG wasn't just a label, it operated like a tight circle where business and loyalty were tied together. And while that was growing, another name was rising in Memphis: Young Dolph. Dolph came up different. He was focused on creating his own. So when Gotti reached out in 2014 with an offer to bring him into CMG, Dolph turned it down, straight up. That decision hit deeper than just business. In a city like Memphis, where reputation and respect carry weight, saying no to someone like Gotti sends a message. Dolph was basically staking his claim, showing he didn't need backing to succeed, and the fact that he was actually making it work on his own only amplified the tension. For a while, nothing exploded publicly. The energy was there though, subtle jabs, coded lines, the kind of quiet rivalry that everyone around could feel, even if it wasn't being said outright. Then 2016 changed everything. Dolph made it loud. When he announced his debut album King of Memphis, it wasn't just a title, it was a statement. Memphis was Gotti's territory, his legacy, his lane. And Dolph stepping in and claiming that title, that was a direct challenge, no more subliminals. The line had officially been crossed. Things escalated quickly when tensions between Yo Gotti's camp and Young Dolph shifted from indirect shots to direct confrontation. One of Gotti's artists, Black Youngsta, was involved in a highly publicized incident where he confronted Dolph in person, and from that point, the situation stopped being just lyrical. It became something the streets and the internet were watching in real time. Memphis was buzzing, and the energy around both camps turned tense. In February 2017, Young Dolph escalated things further by releasing the diss track Play Wit Yo Bitch, directly addressing Gotti by name. There was no more ambiguity or subliminals. Dolph openly criticized Gotti's past attempt to sign him and framed the relationship as a shift from opportunity to hostility. The track was paired with a music video that included a Gotti lookalike, stylized in a way meant to mock him publicly. It was widely seen as a provocative move, and it intensified attention on the feud. Gotti responded with his own diss record, Don't Beef With Me, but by that point, the narrative was already out in the open and heavily amplified online. Shortly after the release of Dolph's diss video, an incident occurred in Charlotte, North Carolina, where Dolph's SUV was hit in a shooting. Reports stated that more than 100 rounds were fired at the vehicle, though Dolph survived due to the SUV being bullet-resistant. He later appeared publicly and even performed the same day, further fueling the story's visibility. Investigations into the shooting led police to a rented vehicle allegedly connected to the incident. Black Youngsta later turned himself in and denied wrongdoing, stating the vehicle had been stolen. He was released on bond, and while no official charges tied Yo Gotti to the incident, speculation and street narratives continued to link various figures involved. From that point on, the situation between both camps stopped being just rap rivalry. It became one of the most heavily discussed and closely watched conflicts in Memphis hip-hop. Tensions between the camps of Yo Gotti and Young Dolph had already been widely discussed in hip-hop culture for years, fueled by diss tracks, public statements, and a series of highly publicized incidents. During this period, there were reports of violent events involving associates on both sides, along with multiple legal investigations. Some individuals connected to those cases faced arrests and charges, though not all cases resulted in convictions, and many details remain disputed or unproven in court. Throughout the same time, Key Glock, a close collaborator and relative figure in Dolph's circle, was rising in the industry under Dolph's guidance through Paper Route Empire. Glock largely stayed out of public disputes and focused on music, building his career alongside Dolph. On November 17, 2021, young Dolph was fatally shot inside Makita's Butter Cookies in Memphis. According to investigators, two armed individuals entered the store and opened fire. Dolph, 36, died at the scene. His death triggered widespread mourning across the music industry and beyond. Fans, peers, and artists publicly paid tribute, while his label, Paper Route Empire, became a central focus of remembrance and legacy preservation. Key Glock, who was closely affiliated with Dolph and viewed him as both mentor and family, withdrew from public view for a period following the tragedy. When he returned online, he expressed grief in raw terms and dedicated himself to continuing Dolph's legacy. In the aftermath, law enforcement investigations led to the arrests of multiple suspects, including Justin Johnson, known as Straight Drop, and Cornelius Smith. Johnson was later convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. During court proceedings in 2024, prosecutors made statements alleging possible connections and motives involving individuals outside the immediate crime scene. These claims were part of the prosecution's argument in court and were presented as allegations within the trial context, which is separate from final judicial findings regarding other figures. The case remains one of the most closely followed and emotionally significant events in modern hip-hop history, especially within Memphis, where Dolph's impact as an independent artist and community figure continues to be widely recognized. During the trial of Justin Johnson, known as Straight Drop, prosecutors in the case of young Dolph presented a theory regarding motive and coordination behind the killing that occurred in Memphis in 2021. According to statements made in court, prosecutors alleged that the killing was not random and argued it was connected to broader disputes within Memphis hip-hop circles. These claims included assertions about possible financial incentives and communications between individuals connected to the case. It is important to note that these were prosecution allegations presented in court, not separate convictions against all individuals mentioned. The defense and other parties involved have disputed various aspects of those claims, and only certain defendants were ultimately convicted in relation to the murder itself. Following these court proceedings, online commentary and media personalities circulated additional claims and alleged documents said to be linked to the case. These materials were widely shared on social media, but were not independently verified in court records and should be treated as allegations rather than established facts. Public reaction was intense. Fans of young Dolph and supporters of Key Glock expressed grief and anger across social platforms, with many calling for accountability and clarity as discussions around the case continued. Neither Yo Gotti nor Collective Music Group made detailed public statements addressing those specific allegations at the time, and the broader situation remained heavily discussed, especially online, where speculation often mixed with confirmed reporting. On January 13, 2024, Anthony Big Jook Mims was fatally shot in Memphis. According to Memphis police reports, the incident occurred at a gathering following a funeral service at a venue on Winchester Road. Authorities stated that gunfire erupted in the area, and multiple individuals were struck. One victim died, and another survived their injuries. Investigators reported that a white SUV was seen leaving the scene and released surveillance images in connection with the case. A reward was offered for information, but as of publicly available updates, no arrests have been confirmed in relation to the shooting. The case remains under investigation, and authorities have not publicly confirmed a motive or additional details regarding suspects. Following the death of Anthony Big Jook Mims in January 2024, tensions in Memphis hip-hop circles intensified further in public discourse. His funeral in Memphis drew significant attention and a heightened police presence, reflecting concerns about potential unrest surrounding the high-profile nature of the case. In the aftermath, online reactions and live streams from figures connected to the broader Memphis rap scene, including Key Glock, circulated widely. Some of his comments were interpreted by audiences as indirect responses to ongoing tensions, though interpretations varied and were largely shaped by social media discussion, rather than confirmed statements of intent. These events were often viewed through the lens of earlier conflicts involving young Dolph, whose 2021 killing had already deeply impacted the Memphis music community and intensified scrutiny of relationships between associated artists and labels, including Collective Music Group and Paper Route Empire. As a result, public reaction to later incidents, including visits to gravesites and social media activity, became highly polarized online. Some interpreted these actions as symbolic or emotional statements tied to grief and loyalty, while others viewed them as escalating tensions. However, much of the narrative circulating online was driven by speculation rather than verified information from law enforcement or court findings. After the death of young Dolph in 2021, the Memphis rap scene shifted in a way that was both immediate and permanent. What had once been a competitive industry environment became something heavier, defined by loss, public scrutiny, and unanswered questions. Dolph, born Adolph Thornton Jr., was killed in his hometown of Memphis, Tennessee, while visiting a local business. His death sent shockwaves through the music industry and left a void in independent hip-hop, where he had built Paper Route Empire into a successful artist-led movement. In the aftermath, Key Glock, Dolph's cousin, protege, and closest collaborator, stepped further into the spotlight. Professionally, he continued releasing music and expanding his career under Paper Route Empire. Personally, he remained closely associated with Dolph's legacy, often emphasizing loyalty and continuation rather than separation. Within the same broader Memphis landscape, Yo Gotti and his label Collective Music Group remained one of the most influential forces in Southern hip-hop, continuing to sign artists and expand their commercial reach. As time passed, public attention increasingly focused on how past rivalries and industry tensions were being interpreted through the lens of Dolph's death. Social media amplified every statement, post, and interview, often assigning meaning beyond what was officially confirmed by those involved. Throughout the ongoing attention surrounding Memphis's rap scene, Key Glock continued building his career. His 2023 release, Glaucoma 2, reinforced his position as one of the leading voices from Paper Route Empire, showing that despite loss and instability surrounding the label's history, the music itself remained consistent and commercially strong. By 2025, Glock had expanded further into the mainstream, signing a major label partnership with Republic Records and releasing new material under a wider distribution platform. The move marked a new phase in his career, one focused on growth, while still carrying the legacy of his earlier work with young Dolph. Those close to Glock's public image often point to a recurring theme throughout his catalog: loss. From personal family struggles to the death of young Dolph in 2021, grief has remained a consistent backdrop to his music and public persona. Rather than shifting away from that reality, his work has often reflected it directly, focusing on loyalty, survival, and emotional restraint. At the same time, Yo Gotti continued operating through Collective Music Group, maintaining his role as one of the most influential executives in Southern hip-hop. The aftermath of his brother, Anthony Big Jook, Mims's 2024 death, brought additional public attention to his personal life, though official investigations into the case have remained ongoing, with limited confirmed updates released publicly. Within media commentary and online discourse, various personalities and commentators have speculated about broader industry connections and potential implications tied to ongoing legal cases. However, as of public record, no charges have been filed against Yo Gotti in connection with these matters, and many claims circulating online remain unverified outside of social media and commentary platforms. What remains consistent across all sides is the impact of loss. Multiple deaths, ongoing investigations, and a music community in Memphis that continues to operate under intense public scrutiny. Despite that, the industry itself continues forward, artists releasing music, labels expanding, and a culture trying to separate art from the weight of real-world events that continue to surround it. In the aftermath of multiple high-profile tragedies tied to Memphis's hip-hop scene, public reaction became increasingly polarized. Online communities, including fans of young Dolph and supporters of Key Glock, expressed strong emotional responses across social media platforms. Many focused on grief, legacy, and safety concerns for artists connected to paper route empire, while others emphasized the importance of due process and cautioned against drawing conclusions from incomplete or unverified information. At the same time, commentary surrounding Yo Gotti and Collective Music Group became increasingly charged online. Much of this discourse was shaped by speculation, reposted claims, and interpretations of court-related discussions, rather than confirmed judicial findings involving all individuals mentioned in online narratives. Legal proceedings connected to the killing of young Dolph have produced convictions for certain individuals, while other aspects of the broader discussion remain the subject of ongoing public debate, commentary, and interpretation. In parallel, investigations related to later events in Memphis have continued with limited official disclosure. One central complexity in these cases is the presence of individuals who cannot respond to allegations made after their deaths, including Anthony Big Jook Mims. In legal contexts, testimony and prosecutorial theories are evaluated within court systems, while public perception often develops far beyond what is formally established in verdicts or filings. As a result, two narratives now coexist, one built from legal proceedings and verified outcomes, and another shaped by social media interpretation, commentary, and cultural memory. What remains undeniable is the impact on Memphis itself. A city deeply tied to hip-hop culture has also become a focal point for conversations about rivalry, loss, accountability, and the consequences of long-running public conflict. And even now, years after the first diss tracks and industry disagreements, the story continues to evolve, not only in courts, but in the way it is remembered, discussed, and interpreted by the public. In the aftermath of years of tension, loss, and public scrutiny, the story surrounding Memphis hip-hop has become larger than any single label, artist, or moment. What began as music industry competition between Yo Gotti and the rise of young Dolph evolved over time into a deeply layered cultural narrative, one shaped by rivalry, ambition, tragedy, and the realities of life in the city of Memphis. The legacy of Dolph continues through Key Glock and Paper Route Empire, who remain active in music while publicly navigating the weight of loss that reshaped their careers and personal lives. On the other side, Collective Music Group continues to operate as one of the most influential forces in Southern hip-hop, with its own roster, successes, and ongoing public attention surrounding its history and affiliations. Across all sides, grief is not theoretical. It is lived. Families have been affected, communities have been affected, and the music industry itself has been forced to confront the consequences of conflicts that extended far beyond music. While online discourse often frames these events as part of a single connected narrative, the legal reality remains more complex. Some cases have resulted in convictions, others remain under investigation, and many claims circulating in public spaces have not been independently verified in court. What remains certain is this: Memphis changed, the industry changed, and the people connected to these events continue to move forward in the shadow of questions that, for many, remain unanswered. And in that uncertainty, the story is no longer just about rivalry or labels. It is about loss, memory, and the long aftermath of events that cannot be undone. The legal cases connected to the death of young Dolph remain part of the public record, with convictions reached for some individuals and other proceedings still moving through the justice system. In parallel, the 2024 killing of Anthony Big Jook Mims remains under investigation, with authorities releasing limited confirmed details. In Memphis, those developments continue to be followed closely, not only by law enforcement and the courts, but by a community that has lived through the ripple effects of these events in real time. Within that environment, artists like Key Glock have continued to release music under Paper Route Empire, carrying forward creative output shaped by personal loss and public attention. What is clear is that this is a situation where real loss, public perception, and online amplification are all colliding, and each new visible moment gets added to a story that people are already emotionally invested in.